Guys, welcome back again. I'm back to Diary of the Law. Hi guys, thank you so much for being here. To our old and our new subscribers, welcome. This is Diary of the Law. So today we're going to be looking at what we've been talking about in the previous videos, and that was the defenses to criminal liability. So our fun way of saying it was how to successfully get away with crime. So today the way to get away with crime is through the defense of mistake. Now, okay, so the defense of mistake is in section 25 of the criminal code. Section 25, and in this particular chapter, this particular section, and this particular defense to criminal liability, it essentially states that for a person to be absolved of the liability of what they have done, it is essential that what they have done, they did it under a reasonable but honest belief that what they did was right. So according to section 25 of the criminal code, when a person does an act under a mistaken belief of the truth of that particular act or omission, then he's not criminally liable for what he has done. Mistake is provided for in section 25. Section what? Section 25 of the criminal code, and this particular section basically explains that when a person does an act under a mistaken but reasonable belief, then he will not be criminally liable for what he has done. So I'll give you an example, right? My sister and I look very much alike. That's just by the way. Anyways, we have this particular two-piece that we bought, and it's the same style, right? But then hers is green and mine is red. I'll try and look for a video if I can attach it, but hers is green and mine is red. So if I say, oh, I mistakenly took her own, the defense of mistake will not avail me, because I know that my own is red and her own is green. So obviously I could not have mistakenly have taken her own, and so what I will now be liable for will be the crime of stealing, not necessarily be availed of the defense of mistake, since this is not possible. This is not a reasonable excuse that I did not know that the two-piece was not my own. Now we're going to go on to the conditions that must be fulfilled for the defense of mistake to avail a person. So the first condition, are you ready for this? Drum rolls please. The first condition is that the mistake must have been a mistake as to fact, not necessarily a mistake as to the law. Let me explain that. So a mistake as to fact is a mistake as to the circumstances of the case. It is a mistake as to what you thought the situation was and what it actually was not. Do you understand that? So it's a mistake as to the circumstances, it's a mistake as to what was going on. So it is the mistake of me taking my sister's clothes. That is the mistake as to facts. However, the mistake as to law is a mistake, it's a supposed mistake as to what the law is and what the law is not. And so this is where section 22 of the criminal code comes into play, where it states that ignorance of the law is not an excuse. So the mistake that you claim was a mistake, it must not be that, oh, you did not know that it was a crime. What it would be is that you did not know that what you did was not true. You believed it was true. You understand that? So for the particular instance, the particular case I read recently, and in that particular case, the man he bought some white powder and he thought that it was just white powder. I thought it was just medicine. However, I found out eventually later that it was cocaine. That particular case was a mistake as to the fact, circumstances. However, if he knew it was cocaine and then he bought it saying, oh, he's not know cocaine is illegal, that is a mistake as to the law, and that will not be a valid excuse to avoid your criminal liability. Do you understand that? Does that make sense? Are you sure? Okay, let's go. So the second condition is that the mistake must have been made in good faith. So this means that the mistake that you have made, you must have made it not from a place of criminal intent. So I'm going to just explain this by the way, right? For crimes to be committed, there must be something called actus reus and mens rea. So actus reus is the actual act, and mens rea is the mental element. So for a crime to have been committed, there must have been the acts, that is the stealing. and then the intention to steal. So both these things together will now give you what you call crime. And so it is very important that your supposed mistake, what you have done, must have been done in good faith. You must have done it with a pure mind, with good intentions. So for instance, my sister and I we're both law students. Sure. We're both like in the legal field basically. And that means that we have a lot of white shirts in my house because law students wear white and black. Now, pocket shirts come in the same way. Pocket shirts are all the same. And so if I take one of her own shirts and I say, oh, I think it's mine because it looks like mine, I will not be I will not be liable for the crime of stealing, because I did that particular act under good faith. I had a good intention because I wanted to go to school, not because I wanted to deprive her of wearing or having a white shirt. So this can be to all those younger sisters like me that like to take our sisters' things. This is your defense. This time, this is for you. So the first one that I said before was that it must have been done. It must have been a mistake as to fact and not as to law. And second, that the mistake must have been done in utmost good faith. Do you understand? Are you sure? Okay. So before we even go any further, I've talked. Before we go any further, I'm going to ask you a small, tiny, are you ready? ISAT, I active, pop quiz. So yeah, let's go. So the answer to that particular question is section 22. Section 22, which provides that ignorance of the law is not an excuse in the law. It is not an excuse. You cannot tell the court that I did not know. You should know. You should know that stealing is bad. You should know that rape is bad. You should know that murder. You should know that. So the third condition for the defense of mistake to avail an accused person is that the mistake must have been honest and reasonable. The mistake must have been honest and reasonable. And so what this means is that what you have done, if a reasonable man had seen what you had done, judged what you have done, he would actually truly honestly believe that what you thought was true was actually true. That is reason. So in the case of R versus Gadam, this is a very interesting case, right? So the man he believed that the woman in question was a witch, and so because he believed that, he went ahead to kill her. And the court held that the defense of mistake cannot avail him because his thought process was very, very unreasonable, very repugnant to natural justice, equity, and good conscience, and so he could not avail himself through the defense of mistake because his mistaken belief was unreasonable and it was not honest. And so yes, the fourth condition for the defense of mistake to avail a person is that the mistake must have been as assumed, as imagined by the accused person. So the crux of this condition is essentially that what the accused person believed in his mind must have matched what he had done. So the mistake must have been as he imagined it to be. It must have been as he thought it to be. So he actually truly believed that what he thought was right. So in the case of R versus Levitt, the man was acquitted because he defended himself against someone that he had assumed was a burglar, was not, and so he attacked in self-defense, and then the court held that he was acquitted because he actually truly believed it. What he imagined was what it was. So yeah guys, that is it for today. But thank you so much for coming along with me on this particular series. I really enjoy talking to you. I really enjoy your feedback. I really enjoy comments. I enjoy the likes, the shares. I enjoy it all. So thank you so much, and thank you. So please don't forget to like, to comment, to share, to subscribe. Tell all your friends to tell their friends, and their own friends to tell their enemies that They should subscribe. They should be here. They should be watching this. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic, amazing day. Have any questions, put it in the comment section and then I'll attend to it. Yeah. So yeah, have a great day, guys.
I do not feel bad luck. Yeah, you've got